Brother Zahid Nawaz, would you like to take on and summarize some of your thoughts so far, please?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Firstly, I just want to thank Brother Nawaz and the organizers for organizing this session. It's very, very timely and it's very critical to have these discussions because this Islamic year is coming to an end, and next month, inshallah, we will be entering the next Islamic year. May Allah make that year a blessing for us and embrace us for good deeds and allow us to hold on to our beliefs, which is very, very important. I think the concept of unity has come out very, very sharply indeed, and all our speakers have touched on that. But I think what's also coming out clear is that unity cannot just be achieved by following mathematical models or scientific predictions of the sighting of the crescent. The first principle of any unity formula or any unity principle for moon sighting has to comply with the principles of Quran and Sunnah. And there is no compromise on that whatsoever. And I think if someone does just focus on scientific predictions, and when I say scientific predictions, what I mean is simply rely on calculations. And I think that's coming out very clear from this session and other discussions with which Wifaqul Ulama and all the other organizations, whether it's Rochdale, whether it's Birmingham or any other organization. I think if anyone just relies on calculations, there will be a gap, a vacuum between the ulama and those who just follow scientific principles or models of prediction. And I think that point is very clear currently in a country like Pakistan, for example, where the Minister for Science and Technology emphasizes on his ready-made app, which they've designed, and ignores actual moon sighting. So what he's really in practice done, with good intention of creating unity, he's created a huge vacuum between the ulama and the people who just rely on an app. And I think that's critically wrong. If we want to create unity, I think the first priority would be that any principle will have to comply with the principles of Quran and Sunnah. Then comes the secondary source. The primary source, I've said, is Quran and Sunnah. Secondly, the secondary source is your scientific rationalization. And I think all our speakers today will agree on this point. And the third point is forward planning, which our Maulana Chishti Sahib from Rochdale, he has very beautifully articulated that youngsters will say that we need prior indication. So any solution should be able to provide that indication, not the final decision, but an indication. So people could actually plan accordingly, book holidays. And that can be done by reliance on reliable astronomical data. Another thing which is coming out very clearly today is a lot of brothers are keen to announce, and I think this is very important as well, make announcement for selected Islamic months. And when I say selected, I think for them it's Ramadan, Shawwal, and Dhul Hijjah. And I really personally don't care what medium people use to make their announcements. I represent the Noor TV Ruyat-e-Hilal board, which comprises of the MOU, because we've also signed on this memorandum, and also with ulama and muftis across the country. But I say this, that I think we should be flexible, that anybody could announce on whatever medium, Twitter, Facebook, but announcements should not come before sunset on the 29th. I find it very odd, brothers, that people who really speak very highly and with power and passion about moon sighting, and even ulama, and they recite the hadith, sumu li royati, waftiru li royati, with great power, and yet they are announcing at Asr time. Some of them announce at Zohar time. Clearly, that is not acting upon any form of actual moon sighting. And I think we need to be very careful. Our esteemed scholar has, Alama Farid Patel Sahab, has set out that sighting, local sighting, is very important. And I think this misconception which exists amongst some people that the moon cannot be sighted in the UK, I think that's clearly not true. The moon on some months can be sighted and has been sighted in the UK. So our first priority would be to increase our efforts to increase local sighting. And Hazrat Allama Suleiman Ghani Sahab, I think I want to congratulate and pay great respects to him, and also congratulate him on the new arrival in his family. May Allah bless the new arrival and it becomes a new blessing for their entire family. But he's worked very hard in establishing local moon sighting efforts in the UK. And I think that's very important. The other thing is that this whole discussion, this requires full 12 months dedication. My respected brothers, they are those who will appear out of nowhere for 3 months, for Shawwal, for Ramadan and Zulhijjah, and then they will disappear. And then those people will come out again and then start preaching, and then they will disappear. But I think solution for this requires 12 months dedication. And our brother Nawaz here works around the 12 months. His messages, the social media work, and now through the memorandum of understanding that we've developed, I think people are focusing more on 12-month announcements. It will be wrong of me not to mention the forum I represent, since we have collaborated with other organizations from Muharram to Zulhijjah. We are making all 12-month announcements after proper consultation and verification of moon sighting reports. The other thing which our Allama Farid Patel touched on was the concept of Wahdat-e Matla or Ikhtilaf-e Matla, multiple horizon or single horizon. And I think in that we need to just exercise some caution, which Allama Suleiman Ghani and Brother Nawaz will agree with me, is that when we say we follow countries, we just have to be careful which country we want to follow. And we need to understand which system of moon sighting that country is following. And we can't just say that we will follow, say, for example, South Africa, and we will continue until we die, we will continue to follow South Africa. No, because let me give you a scenario that if, for example, South Africa was to change their moon sighting criterion tomorrow, and they may decide to follow Saudi or any other country, do we still carry on following South Africa for the sake of following South Africa? Absolutely not. So our moon sighting criteria needs to be clear, and we need to have a moon sighting radar built in place which monitors these countries where moon sighting is being developed. And I think what I really like in the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, is this concept of ongoing research into these countries. I think the other thing which needs to be mentioned is that when we talk about predictions, and Allama Suleiman Ghani always shows us his maps and the visibility curves, and I think today he will also share his clear understanding on this subject. But just what I want to add is that when we talk about these models of prediction, whether it's Khalid Shaukat, whether it's the Dr. Bernard Jollop, whether it's Professor Ilyas's model, whether it's the moon calculator, or whether it's Muhammad Uday's prediction from Jordan. One thing we need to be clear on is that none of these models of prediction take into account weather conditions. So, for example, if Dr. Bernard Jollop's criterion is saying that the visibility of the moon is category A, B, or C, but let's stick with A or B, in a particular country, and on that day, on the 29th, there was a storm, there was rain, there was a sandstorm, and the moon, the crescent, is not seen. What will people do? Will they stick to the Dr. Bernard's prediction, or will they follow actual moon sighting? Clearly, they will follow actual moon sighting. So I think the weather conditions always need to be taken into account, and that is فَإِنَّ هُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ, what we have been hearing from Allama Farid Patel. That is just a summary of some of the points, brothers, which I have picked up in the earlier presentations. May Allah bless all our speakers, all our organizers, and our intentions are clear: not to attack on any country, not to criticize any particular organization, but our sincerity, our intentions are clear, that we want to, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, create unity in this moon sighting subject or discussion. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.